All right, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining to our today's webinar titled What is New in codeBeamer 7.8. My name is Mylan Lu and I'm really glad to be here and also present the new and update features of our codeBeamer version 7.8. I think everybody here agrees that the software industry is continuously changing since the beginning. So software should be really easy to use. And unfortunately, the intuitive using of software in many cases is combined with intensive training and costs. And we as a software company who also use codeBeamer really to develop our codeBeamer, we also know that the usability and the improvement of the software is very important. And therefore, I will show you some examples of our improvements and also new feature that we did implement in the last few weeks and in the last few months. And also, the new codeBeamer release has been also, already released, and you can just feel free to download our new release, codeBeamer release version 7.8 directly on our homepage. And for those of you who are already a case of existing customer or an existing trial of codeBeamer user, this is just going to give you a lot of insight what's already in 7.8. And for those of you who have never seen codeBeamer before, please note this is not a full demonstration of the actual codeBeamer product. If you are interested in the capabilities of codeBeamer, please feel free to join upcoming webinars or to contact our salesperson to get a one-on-one demonstration free of charge. So let's see what we are going to have for today. In today's webinar, we will showcase our updated and also powerful word import functionality. You will also get a chance to learn about codeBeamer's powerful business process model management engine. And this new workflow engine allows you to flexibly connect and also automate your processes within the company throughout the whole product lifecycle. And based on customizable and individual conditions, you can also trigger the creation of a new work items automatically by codeBeamer. You can also set up notification such as email and also further individual action as well. And in addition to that, we will also showcase the 3 new safety critical templates that can support the development of the quality, compliant end products, each for medical, automotive, and the avionics industries. And these templates come with comprehensive documentation, with pre-configured workflows, and also exportable reports in order to facilitate the compliance with audits. And also, in addition to that, we also enhanced our test management modules with new and also related features as well. And I'm going to show you this in a live demonstration. So let me quickly tell you about the structure of today's webinar. After the live demonstration of the new feature 7.8 of codeBeamer, we will start a Q&A session. But of course, if you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to use the integrated question area of the GoToMeeting dashboard. And I will do my best to answer them all in the end of this webinar. And if I don't get to your question, I will follow up with you. In addition to that, a recording of today's webinar about new features of codeBeamer 7.8 will be also available on our website soon after this webinar. And once you're visiting and browsing around our web page, please make sure that you also check on our upcoming webinars as well. So let us show you how all these features for 7.8 looks like. But before we move into the live demonstration, I would like to simply ask you a few questions, and then I will show you the greatly implemented features, may they be new or extended, and also improvements for 7.8. It will just take a few minutes, so please take like a few seconds to answer to each of these questions. So the first question that I have is what development methodology are you currently using in your company? Is it Agile? Is it Scrum? Is it Waterfall, V-Model, or even hybrid? All right. Thank you for your answers. The next question that I have is, what tools are you currently using? Are you using MS Office, IBM, Jira? Are you using HP or even any other tools that are not listed right now? All right, thank you very much. So I have a last question before we start the live demonstration, which is, are you currently searching for a tool to manage requirements, testing, the ALM, or are you currently searching a tool to manage agile projects or even to scale multiple agile projects, also known as Scaled Agile Framework, which has been introduced by Dean Leffingwell in order to scale different multiple derived teams and disparate teams? All right, thank you very much for your answers. So I think in this case we will directly jump into the live demonstration to showcase all the new features and enhancements and improvements of codeBeamer 7.8. So therefore I will directly jump into my codeBeamer, where I will start with the new and enhanced Word import. So for example, if I go into a specific tracker and there is no requirement yet, you will need to bring all your requirements into codeBeamer. And what you might already know is our Word import. So if you click on More Import, you are able to export either from Word, Excel, or MS Project. And then one thing, sorry, I just clicked on Export. So if you import a Word document which looks like this, for example, so requirements specified in Word with some description. Your Word document can also include some pictures, tables, and some children requirements as well. So let us import this Word document into codeBeamer and let's see how it looks like. So therefore I will just choose this document which you have seen right now, and then I will just attach this document into my codeBeamer system. And what you can see right now, this is the normal Word import layout that you might already know. And the next page basically is the new preview screen where you can see all the preview of all the work item, or let's say requirement structure. You can also see the content, and furthermore you can also filter and set the work items to define other work item rules. So what you can see in this preview screen is on the left-hand side, you can see the work item structure, you can see the parent-child relation in the structure tree. You can also see in the center panel the description of the document's view like list that has to be imported or can be imported next. On the right-hand side, you can define different import rules using different kind of conditions, and also see a statistics area down there in order to, and some control buttons. So what you can do basically right now is now you can go through the preview and you can also decide which requirement to import into the system, and therefore all the items that will be imported will be highlighted as green. So you can pretty much check the model requirement, and all the children requirements will be imported as well. Another thing that I mentioned before is that you can also use import rules in order to optimize the processes. So for example, if you have specific conditions, codeBeamer will help you to import certain rules directly as you configure them. So for example, if you have some certain conditions, like you would like to add everything that contains a test, you can use let's say different different conditions. So for example, if the requirement has a style or contains some words, does not contain any words, or you can also use regular expressions. So for example, for this webinar, I'm going to search for all the items that includes the test, and the test, all the items that includes test will be imported into my test case tracker accordingly. And also you can set up different logical operators. You see we have two operators, which is all and any. All means that if all these conditions that you're setting up right now are met, the rule is applied, and if all the conditions below are met, the everything will be imported. So basically, we can say that the logical order all is like the AND operator. And any means that if any of these conditions are met, the rule is applied, and if any of the conditions below are met also. So basically, we can say that the any condition is like the OR operator. So let's define if we have items which include the test, we will import this into the test case tracker. And also, for example, I would like to import my risk as well. So for example, if anything contains risk, then it will import the item into my risk tracker accordingly as well. And what I would like to show you is the regular expression. So you see, for example, everything that I'm going to import, which includes should have, must have, or nice to have, should be, for example, import into my test tracker. And now, when I click on preview, you can see how the work items are going to be imported into the system. So, for example, you can see now 3 items are going to be imported into the risk tracker according to my conditions up there, and 3 are going into import into my test tracker and the test tracker as well. So, for example, I can also override the rules. So, for example, if I go to the flow rate accuracy, I would like to import this one into the current customer requirement specification tracker. You will also see that now 4 are going to being imported into the current tracker. Another thing is that in this preview, you can also directly decide whether to import this specific work item into any other kind of work item or tracker types as well. So for example, you can directly change that the import type directly here as well, and you see the symbol has been changed accordingly. All right, so let us import these ones, and let's click on save. And I will show you what happens next. So you can see the requirements that I've just selected has been imported into the customer requirement specification, and there are other items that has been imported into a different tracker as well. So let me show you, for example, in the overview of the tracker. So now I have 7 risk items, 1 task, and also some test cases. So this is our enhanced Word import. And possibly you will also have like table data also inside of your Word document, and you will also may want to import this into a specific tracker and also create several work items from the data. And this especially can happen if or does make sense when the Word document is generated from like some other tools, and the generated data has tabular form. So this is currently what you can see right now. In this use case, I have another requirements document in Word, and you can see that the requirements are specified in a table. We have table data inside this Word document. And in such case, you can also import this kind of requirements or Word tables instead of the Excel, because most likely the description in Word allows you to have richer formatting and also images than in Excel, for example. So let me show you how this looks like. So for example, if you want to import this kind of requirements document, now we have also the so-called Microsoft Word table import. So if we actually are going to import this requirement, I can select the right Word document, and also let's drag this document with the requirements into a system and click on next. What you can see right now is also a preview before the actual import. So you will see all the columns, a preview of your requirements down there. And now you can pretty much decide how to import the specific columns which has been defined in the Word document, and how this should be mapped into the codeBeamer system. So for example, in this example, we have heading, we have description, we have the status, business value, and let's say we have another requirements with different fields as well. So for example, here complexity. And now codeBeamer is able to, you can decide from which table you want to import. So you see we have two tables. And if I switch to the second table, you will also have the opportunity to map the rows accordingly. So for example, here codeBeamer comes or suggests fields from codeBeamer in order to map the Word document. So for example, if I take the heading, instead of the heading, I'm going to map this with codeBeamer summary. Description has been mapped accordingly, the status and the complexity as well, and also the type. And now I'm going to just ignore the foreign fields, and let's click on next. And now we're actually going to import the requirements from the tables into codeBeamer. So when I click on finish, you will see now here the requirements from my Word table. Alright, so basically this was the Word import. What I'm going to show you next is basically our new BPMN process capabilities. So codeBeamer's powerful BPMN process management engine allows you really to flexibly connect and also automate the processes throughout the whole lifecycle. And you can define own conditions. You can trigger the creation of work item types such as requirements, new tests, bugs, and this is just up to you how you want to configure that. You can also set up like email notifications and further action as well. For today's webinar, I have set up a use case. So for example, if you have an external customer and he submits a new ticket, so this is what you can see right now, then you will need to have developers in your company who needs to work on this new issue ticket. And then from this ticket, the so-called service agent will verify this ticket, and then he can change the status from this ticket into the status in progress. And once he changes the status into in progress, codeBeamer will automatically generate a new bug out of that, just according to the ticket classification. If it was a bug, then codeBeamer will generate a new bug accordingly. If it was a new change request and the service agent has classified it as change request, then codeBeamer will generate a new change request. And this is the same thing for a feature request as well. And you can then the developers start to resolve the issue ticket, and you're just able to resolve the ticket once you change the status into resolved. And then the customer will get an automatically email notification sent by codeBeamer to the submitter. So let me show you how this looks like in codeBeamer. So as you might know, this is our service desk functionality. I've in my Firefox browser, and in this Firefox browser I'm currently logged in as demo user. So demo user is just an external stakeholder who can just see the service desk functionality. So let's assume the service desk or the customer has a new request. So for example, she has a new bug, and she's also attaching some more information about this bug. So the customer is about to submit a new bug, and she has a nice overview on all her requests. So for example, she can review the status of this ticket and also see what happens next. In the background, once I open up the my Chrome instance, you will see now I'm logged in as Mylan Tran, and Mylan Tran is the service agent. So once I refresh this page, I will also get this new ticket. And now I can start working on this. They can collaborate together. So for example, if I put in a new comment, I can also collaborate together with the customer. So let's save up the comment. And if I refresh the view of this service desk, for my service desk user, you will see that I can see the comment of this developer. All right, so let me show you the workflow of this service desk ticket tracker, how we can build up the business process model behind the tracker for this use case. So once I click on More Customize and then to those state transitions, you will see that once a ticket has been submitted, it's in a status new. And then in the transition define, so once I change the status from new to in progress, you see some actions. So in this use case, I defined that once the ticket classification has been set to change request, then codeBeamer will automatically generate a new change request automatically from this ticket. You can see, for example, you can set condition, you can set up distribution rows, associations. You can also copy field values. So for example, you see that the new change request or the bug will also copy the summary, the release, assigned to, story points, description, attachments as well. You can so pretty much really define what to copy and what to do with the item. You can also define if it should have a specific value, or you can also define compute formula expressions. And basically, these are the default actions that we have. So for example, you can also update particular item properties. You can also update referring items. And this is what we are doing right now. So we are creating new referring items automatically out of codeBeamer. So let me show you. I will cancel this and go back to my ticket. So once I change the status from new into define, you will see that the service agent will have to set up the category. So is it a bug, is it a change request, or a feature request? And I will assign it to a developer to solve on this problem. So let me click on save. And you will see now, as I change the status from new to in progress, now upon the references, I have a new related bug. So you see also how codeBeamer can generate automatically new work items out of the system using our BPM capabilities. Another thing is that also the customer will get this view, and he knows that currently someone is working on this ticket. All right. I have also another use case. So let me switch to a PowerPoint presentation again. So basically, you can also build up very complex processes. So for example, if you have to be compliant with FDA, and we can help you to achieve FDA compliance using our approval workflow as well, and also with the e-signatures. So for example, I have a use case. If a marketing team specifies customer requirements and you derive the new system requirement specification, you will need to select approval owner. So for example, this is also if you need to really have multiple members or people look on that and approve on this work item, you can set up the so-called 4i principle as well. And then from the main process, once you change the status of your system requirement into waiting for approval, then codeBeamer will generate automatically a sub-approval task for the selected approval owners. So one approval task for each approval owner, and then the approval owner can attach attachments or even comments on the sub-approval task, and he can either approve or reject the approval task with his electronic signature. And then once all the approval owners accept the sub-approval task, then codeBeamer will automatically attach all the attachments from the sub task to the main approval process item, and also will automatically change the status into accepted. So let me show you how this looks like in codeBeamer. So when I go into my system requirements, and I will just directly set up a new requirement. Let's call it SDRS1. And then I'm going to into the detail view of my system requirement specification, and I'm going to approve this system requirement specification. And I will see that the owner field is mandatory, so I need to choose the right people to review this requirement. So therefore, I'm going to select, for example, myself. So I have the role of the requirements engineer, and also I'm going to select the demo user. So in this way, I'm also like establishing that the quality engineer also has to have a look at this requirement. Now, as I'm selecting two owners, I'm going on Save. You will see now upon the references that codeBeamer now generates two approval, or let's say sub-approval tasks, one for myself as I'm the requirements engineer, and one for Erica as she's the quality engineer. Let me change the browser real quick. So as of now, I'm logged in as demo user once again, and through my start, my items, a demo user or Erica can see all the items which are on in to do. So for example, now she can see that she has to approve on this certain SRS item. And now she can also have a look at this item. She can jump back and forth, so there's full traceability on that. And now she can start to verify the item. So basically, she can put in who signed this task, and also she can put in her electronic signature. So let me save this up. And now the first approval task has been accepted. When I go back into the main process, you will see that there's only one approval task left. So therefore, I will also need to assign and to verify the task. So let me verify this task, and I will also need to put in my who signed this task and also the right electronic signature, and also I can put in a new comment, and let's save. So now, as both of us approved the sub task, I will go back to the main requirement and change this and refresh the page. And you will see automatically codeBeamer changed the status from approved to accepted, and all the attachments, or in this case the comment, has been copied into the main item as well. Maybe just to clarify a little bit, if I click on more customize, I will show you the configuration for this use case. So for example, if I go from new to waiting for approval, you see that there's an action configured that codeBeamer will generate automatically a new approval task and will distribute an approval task for each of these owners. And you can also, as I mentioned before, compute own fields with the so-called concat terminology. All right, I have also another use case for this webinar. So for example, if you have to develop safety critical requirements, codeBeamer can also help you to achieve or to really work on a safety critical requirements using our BPMN processes. So for example, if you have a requirement which is on the safety, or which is very safety critical, codeBeamer can automatically generate a related risk out of this high safety level of requirement, and also automatically create a new related test case. But this is also fully customizable, so you can also derive other work items out of that, of course. And then you start to assess the risk, you start to handle your risk, and also start to test your safety and high safety level requirements. And you can just start to implement your high safety requirement once the risks are mitigated, and the test cases are accepted. So this is another use case that I've brought to you. So once I want to implement a new software requirement. So I'm about to submit a new software requirement, and I'm going to the detailed view of this requirement, and I'm changing the status from new into define. And you will see now the safety class is mandatory. So here I have to classify, is this a safety critical requirement? And if this is a high safety requirement, I click on save. And then I'm going to redefine, so to accept this software requirements, and click on save. You will see up on the risk now we have a related risk, and also in the references we also have a test case. So let me click start, change the status to an implementation and save on this. And you see there's a guard. So at first I have to mitigate all the risk and also test this software requirements demo in order to implement the this requirement. So let me just quickly show you how this looks like. So for example, if I mitigate my risk, so I'm just verifying this, I'm just skipping a few steps. So I'm also need to plan the reduction. Of course, I have to set up to put in the likelihood, severity. I also have to derive requirements for mitigation. But let us just skip this so I can show you the business process model capabilities. So now I have mitigated the risk in theoretical, and also I need to accept my test case. So this is what I'm doing right now. So now as I have accepted test case and a mitigated risk, once I refresh the page and change the status into implement, the guard that has been defined for this particular use case is now true. So in this case, I can start the implementation. So basically, you can also build up very, very strong processes and automate the steps that has been defined or has been done manually in the previous codeBeamer versions. All right, another thing that I would like to show you is the templates that we have in codeBeamer. So for example, we also have new safety critical templates which supports development of quality compliant end products for medical industries. So for example, we have predefined or very good specified template with including a wiki page, how to be compliant with standards, and with this template, we help you to be compliant with, for example, the IEC 62304. This is also including risk management, where we can help you to be compliant with the 49781 and also the FDA CFR 21 Part 11 Part 820, for example. And also we have another template for Automotive, where we help you to be compliant with the ISO 26262, and also this comes with preconfigured trackers, preconfigured workflows, and a very nice, let's say, this description how to use our templates. In addition to that, let's jump into our last template, which is for Avionics, where we can help you to be compliant with the DO 178C. And also with preconfigured trackers, workflows, and also a description how to get started with the template. If you have more, more interest in one of these templates, please feel free to directly contact our sales department, and we're happy to help you out. All right. So in this way, I'm going to show you another enhancement of codeBeamer, which is called Test Management 2.0. So one improvement in the test management module is that we can now also reuse test steps from other test cases. So for example, if I set up a new test case, let's call it test case demo. So now I'm just adding a new test case, And then I'm going to the edit. You will see that you can reuse the test steps from a test case in this project. Or you can also reuse, of course, test steps from another test case from another project. So for example, I'm about to reuse another a test step in another project called Test Lab Demo Project. And here I have another test case, and down there you can see all the test steps in this particular test case. Now, this is a new known feature that we already have. So just by drag and dropping, you can reuse the test steps. But what's new? You can either decide if you want to just copy the test set, which will be a new instance, or you can use the test step as a reference. The advantage of this feature is that once the original test step will change, then the copied test step will change accordingly as well. So you see, for example, as I copied this test step from this other test case in the project, you will see from which project this test case is actually coming from. And once I go into the original test step in the test case, you will also see the other way around. So you see which test case is reusing this test step. So for example, if I'm changing the original test step, let's delete this one, and I'm saving the changes in the original test step, the changes will be inherited into the reference test step in the second test case as well. So once I refresh the page, you will see that the change has been updated accordingly as well. Another thing is that we also have a better parameterized test run handling. And also I would like to introduce you the partly passed test run result. So for example, this is also a known feature that can reuse test parameters defining either in the wiki, or you can upload an Excel file defining the parameters. And of course you have to use the parameters somewhere. And this is what I'm going to define. Sorry. So we're using the weight and duration as parameters. And let's save this. Another thing is what I've mentioned before in the test runs, so that you can see we have a new result which is called partly passed. So when you run a test with parameters, the tester may decide whether he wants to skip some of these parameters or not. So therefore I will create a new test run out of my test case. Another feature is this distribution. Maybe I'm going to explain this a little bit more. So when you create a new test run, you can decide whether you would like to create just one test run, which will be shared between all the assigned users and also roles, or you can decide if you would like to create multiple test runs for roles and groups as well. So for example, test run will be generated and created for each user and for each role, but the roles are not expanded to each individual member. The last point is that once you select this option, then codeBeamer will generate a test run for each individual users. So here you have three options. So for example, if I take the last option, and I want to have a test run for each of my testers, then you can select, for example, you see John Bryan is tester, also Lee is a tester, and then once I select the tester role, codeBeamer should generate two test runs for each of the members of this role. So let's click on save. Of course, I have to select the test configuration and also release. And now let me click on save. And you will see codeBeamer has generated a test run for each of those members. All right, so let's start a test run. But before we actually do that, you see that we have to accept test case in order to check that the test case is valid, therefore I'm going to change the status to accept, and then I'm going to run the test case. And this is the actual test run screen. And what I've mentioned before is now you can also skip the parameters that you're using, or you can also select which parameter you would like to start. And therefore, all the other, let's say, functionalities remains the same. But once you skip the test parameters, you can decide and also mark if this test case is completed, suspended, or blocked. Let's take the suspended. And the thing is that when the parameters are skipped, however, it's indicated that this is a special result. And this means the test was passed successful, but however, the test is parameterized, and also some of the parameters were not run yet by the testers. So this is a new result that we introduced with 7.8. Also, another thing is that now in codeBeamer 7.8 we can reuse a test set in a test set. So for example, if I create a new test set, you can see all the test sets in this project. You can also, of course, reuse test sets across projects. So for example, if I take this test set demo in another project, I can just drag this test set into this current test set, and I can also just, let's take this manual test set. Here I can break it down into to show which test case are in this test set. So you can pretty much break it down once again. Another thing is also you can reuse test cases now multiple times. So for example, if I want to assign this test case into this test set, I can reuse it multiple times. So I'm going to test the test case multiple times as well. Another feature that we have is that we can also display the test runs in the test case work item directly in the detailed view of my test case. And there we can introduce a new tab, which is called test runs. And pretty much you can have a nice overview on what's the result of the test run, and also in which configuration, release. This gives you also a nice overview on the running time. In this preview, you can also use filter options. So for example, I'm going to filter on a specific release and on a specific configuration. You can also use the filtering options here as well. Another thing is also that we strongly enhanced our coverage browser. Now you can directly access the coverage browser through this small icon up here. And once you click on that, you can extend all the nodes. So this is our typical, the normal that you might know. This is test coverage. But now what you can see right now is that we extended this test coverage browser with the last test 10 results. So you can see how was the last test run results and what's the status. You can also see who actually has run this test case and what's the running time. And you can also, let's say, put in different filters. So for example, you can filter for coverage, you can filter for status, you can filter for specific release, the stability of your test run. So let's assume that you have test run that has been failed once, then the test case is not stable. You can also filter for configuration, the test run release, a specific period of time, and who actually has run this test case. And also we show the test coverage statistics, which shows you in percentage how many requirements have been passed, how many requirements has been failed, blocked, incomplete, not covered, and this gives you a very nice overview on what's to do and what has to be done next and what has to be tested next. And another thing is that you can now also export this coverage browser either into Excel or Word. And once you export it into Excel, let me show you how this looks like. You will also get the requirements or the coverage browser with all the filterings. So this is how it looks like. All right, so basically this was the live demonstration. Before I go into the Q&A session, I have a very last question to you. Would you like to receive more information on codeBeamer? As I previously mentioned before, codeBeamer 7.8 has been released already. So please feel free to directly go into our homepage, visit our homepage, and you can directly download our codeBeamer version 7.8 directly here. So this is what you can see right now. All right, let's jump into the Q&A session. And let's see if we have some questions. There's another question. Can we use user groups from Active Directory as requirements owners? So basically, once you are synchronized with Active Directory, you can assign these members to a specific role and, of course, use the approval workflow as well. So is there any other question? Maybe a short notification. Unfortunately, we have to postpone the webinar titled How to Achieve Gapless End-to-End Traceability in Hardware and Software Development, which was planned on for next week on Wednesday. This webinar will be held instead on the 27th of January 2016 at 4 p.m. So we would like to invite you to our next webinar titled From MS Office to Real Requirements Management on the 13th of January. So I see as there are no questions anymore, thank you very much for your attention today and hope to see you next time.